It is Monday, March 3rd, 2025, and we're going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order. Are there any public comments before we get started? And if you haven't been here, this commission works a little bit different. We take all the public comments first. Of course, we will ask you to come up when it is your time to speak in order of what we have here. But if there aren't any, we'll go ahead and move forward. Any beforehand comments? No? Okay. All right, approval of previous minutes from the regular meeting of January 6, 2025. Did all of the commissioners get an opportunity to review the minutes that were real lengthy?
I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Roll call. I have a second.
Oh, who's
I'll
second?
second.
Oh, second. Got it. Valerie. Valerie Duncan?
Yes.
Darrell Covington?
Yes.
Phil Nichols?
Yes.
And Maneka Gibbs?
Yes.
And Jason wasn't here.
It was such a long meeting.
All right, 4-0, perfect.
Yes. Welcome. Maybe
Can't wear a hat in chambers, so maybe I should put it back on.
it's up to you. All right. Number 4, HPC application number 25-001, discussion and potential action on a request for certificate of appropriateness for a new overhead door for a building located at 123 North 2nd Street. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just down the street here, just to the north of us here, is the building. They had as you saw, a more modern metal door on the building, and they have requested to change it to a door that has kind of the multiple windows. It's similar to what is over at Hoboken Coffee and also downtown where the old bike shop is. In that it's a color that meets there's a silver, the other ones are black, but it fits in more with the existing modern door frames or window frames and that. It is a it is not a contributing resource. It's a more modern building. So with that, I have it back to the commission. The applicant is here if you have any questions of them.
Okay, applicant, if you would come forward, please. Welcome.
Hi.
I'm glad you guys have replaced the really great door that was there.
Yes.
I think one thing I would say, these are not the owners. These are the general contractors.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, be nice. Yeah.
Oh, mean. Mean. Okay, so, obviously, I mean, I want to say obviously, but you guys had chosen this door. It's the same type of door that is on the front of the creamery.
Yes.
That is half a block down,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And then up the street, there is still an existing garage door like this on the Hurley building. There's also one on the old police station, or fire station, excuse me. And then 2 larger overhead doors like this, but they have the windows at the top, but still these old steel overhead garage doors. So 2nd Street is not unfamiliar to garage doors on their buildings. Unlike some of the other parts of town, we have not had as many of them come forward to be existing. So did you guys choose the metal framing to fit in with what was already there?
Yes.
We can actually add that aluminum to the mullions that were existing.
That was already existing, okay. I would say preferably, these old aluminum windows that we have in here, when they went through and rehabbed a lot of these buildings in the 70s and redid most of downtown, some of the windows were not in bad shape. So some of them they left at these aluminum windows, and so the framings were allowed to stay, and they stayed, they're at their smallest point. Preferably, whenever we design or rehab a new storefront, we don't use aluminum anymore, just because it's not historic. And while it's not a historic front, it's not a non-contributing source. We're still trying to keep that
Okay.
aesthetic still to our downtown.
Yeah.
I like the change in this garage door. Preferably it would have been black, but I understand why you chose to leave it with the aluminum. It was already a garage door, so it's just a material change at this point. Anybody else?
I'd just like to point out the obvious, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but this is the case, the door is already up. And
Yes.
you should have come to the commission.
Yes,
before that door was
yeah,
open.
we just did not realize, and as soon as Dan brought it to our attention, we've filed our application and everything, so we do apologize for that. We just did not realize.
So you've not done work in Guthrie before?
We had not.
Well, I will say that the door looks better than the description. I was a little worried about it until I drove by and saw it. But I have to agree with Mineka. I believe it would look better in black and it would fit into the streetscape better. So that's my opinion.
Any other commissioners? What you guys are remodeling this, what's this business going to be?
I actually don't know.
You don't
We
know?
don't know. We were just hired by the people that owned it to execute the plans,
Awesome,
so
okay.
that's all we were doing.
I mean, I had talked to somebody that was interested in this building before, so it was kind of, kind of maybe hoping, yes.
No,
Any other comments? Well, other than the obvious, if you guys do business in the future, working on
Yes.
any downtown buildings
Absolutely.
located within
Yes.
the historic
Pardon-
district, I'm
pardon me.
sure you have a whole
Who
map.
is the contractor?
We are the contractor.
And
They
who-
are.
And that is,
Oh, Studio Merge, I'm sorry.
Pardon?
Studio Merge. We're based out of Oklahoma City.
okay. You just look familiar, is all.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I mean, in your line of work, that could make sense.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so, it's already up, so I'm not going to ask you to take it down. But in the future, this is a process that happens
Yes, ma'am.
ahead of time. Without any further ado, can I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by
Jason?
Phil.
No,
No?
Daryl.
Daryl? This is Daryl?
Second
Okay.
by Jason.
Sorry, second by Jason. It was said at the same time.
It was.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to
If you
Jason.
want.
No, that's okay. I'll
really
I'll give this one to you, Jason.
All right. Next round, we'll see.
All right.
Ja- Jason Wells,
Yes.
Valerie Duncan,
Yes,
Daryl Covington,
Yes.
Phil Nichols,
Yes.
and Mineka Gibbs.
Yes.
All right, passes 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Learning
guys.
opportunity. We'll do it right next time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you. We
you.
appreciate you guys doing work here. All right, that moves us to number 5, HPC application number 25-002, discussion and potential action on request for certificate of appropriateness on cottage floral facade signage for building located at 112 West Oklahoma Avenue. Staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As indicated, this is for a facade sign. It's at the building currently has the Mark Drug sign there that's been there for many years. The current business took over the space. It's one of those kind of success stories. They're growing, so they went to a bigger space. And obviously, they're looking to have the signage. It'll be a 3-foot by 20-foot, 60 square foot, and it's going in the exact same location where the previous Mark's Drug was, and you see the rendering there. If you have any questions, if not, the applicant is here.
No, I don't have any
I don't have any
questions.
question.
Nope. I don't. I think it looks great.
You don't want me asking you a question. I think your wife's incredible. I'm a little worried about you. I'd make a motion that we approve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Phil.
I'll second.
Oops,
Again,
second by
Jason, all right. Jason Wells,
Yes.
Valerie Duncan,
yes,
Daryl Covington,
Yes.
Phil Nichols,
Yes.
and Mineka Gibbs.
Yes.
All right, 5-0.
All right, item number 6, HPC application number 25-003, discussion and potential action on a request for certificate of appropriateness for new exterior materials on an upper portion of an interior facade for building located at 111 West Harrison Avenue. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to say, when I put interior facade, I realized it sounded like it's actually inside the building. I should have said side property facade, because that's what it is. Anyway, the applicant has a building permit, and they've been remodeling the building. And they started on the upstairs. They're going to put updated residential up there. And in doing so, found that the portion of the exposed facade or building was nothing more than metal. You'll see it there, nothing more than metal and foam. So when they took that down, they had a big gapping area of the building. So at that point, they had to obviously decide what they're were going to do. And so that's why it's come to the HPC, because they're looking, as you can see, to have it framed in, and then the exterior material be a cement fiberboard, which is a typical, I guess, or for exterior. It's rated for exterior in that. It's not a material that is necessarily non-historic, but even with the updated substitute material, cement fiberboard is one they call out. Back in the day, it was all brick. I did look at pictures. We have a picture of basically the whole downtown that is it's somewhere in the 50s from what I could tell, because the old city hall is still there. There were actually 2 windows in that area. The rest was brick. As best I could tell, sometime in the 80s, this was basically blown out, if you want to say, the wall in that, and at some point this metal slash foam was put in its place and has been there till now. So even a cement fiberboard would be a huge improvement to what's currently there. But the applicant is here, so if you have obviously questions of him or need more information, they'd be happy to speak. But that's all I have for staff report.
Mr. Kennedy, will you please come? Welcome. Been in this building a few times, and it's an overhaul, and you guys are doing an awesome job. I'm excited for it to happen.
We've tried to put it on Facebook quite a bit, just to get people excited.
Yes.
Did you say that used to be brick all the way up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, sometime, obviously, at some point it was, taken out. But yeah, because again, I saw, we have a picture upstairs. It's basically a big aerial picture from, again, I don't know what date, but it's definitely sometime in the 50s or before, because the old city hall's still in it. And you can see that portion where there's like 2 big windows there, and the rest is brick. Yeah. But I think this was probably sometime in the 80s, maybe 70s, 80s, that, it went away.
Was it a double white brick or just brick veneer? Or
I'm assuming it was actual brick, but again, the photo wasn't a, one with a lot of clarity, so I couldn't tell with certainty, but it
well, if you
appeared to be
see
brick.
the header courses,
Yeah.
I also almost wondered if the neighboring
Here you
buildings
see
have
in the
also,
header
the back
courses
part had also always been a
that
single
means it's at
story.
least a double
I
white
think you're
brick.
correct on that.
Because
Stretcher
if they
column.
had not always been a single
those
story,
tie
that
the
could
two
be a
walls
side
together.
difference as
So-
well.
And
Yes.
you
Maybe
see
they
it
tore
here,
down
too,
one
so-
part or a second level.
Well,
or
we do have a
something.
building
like the corner
just
was
north
turned,
of that
so it might have
part
been
of this
veneer.
building that was torn down. So if it was double wide. And I actually wanted to talk to the architect
Yeah,
about maybe
it'd be
putting
solid
another
brick.
apartment there. Because
And
you can tell they tore the brick wall
Three
down,
wise.
but I haven't gone with that yet.
Yeah.
We're just kind of dealing with what we're dealing with.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, this was crazy. I don't know if anybody see the video of the 4 walls that were in there? There were 4 walls built on top of each other.
Yeah, I did see that on.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Is that an 8-inch siding?
So we're doing 2x6s, and the siding is gonna, be 8-inch or 10-inch. It's a very, very large wall, so we're gonna want probably larger. siding.
A larger side plank, and
Yeah.
do you, know of what color?
Yeah, so we were thinking white because it was white originally, but we might want to go something more brick looking. I mean, it's really up
Something
to
cooler,
what the
because it's
community
visible
thinks.
from the road.
I'm sorry?
It's visible from the road.
Right.
That's why I asked.
So it was
Something other
white.
than white.
We haven't even thought about colors yet. I know we have a palette that we can choose from.
I mean, I know that one wall where it was the Repo Depot lot, that's white.
Right.
You know, he painted that white, but I was just also wondering, you know, the texture. I would, you know, we've approved textured board. We have new rules that had come out on what you can use, and in lieu of other products and other materials, which is really helpful, and it has really saved a lot of headache. Of course, keeping some things where it was supposed to be brick and was brick originally is always nice. But if you do have to come up with a substitute material, you know, preferably for it to look wood-like, because it would have been a wood material used, or look like wood, it would have been wood. So wood material rather than smooth.
Right, the
wood-like
concrete board
texture.
appears to be wood, right? The texture of the concrete board is wood in nature. It's got grain and knots in it and everything like that. We are doing brick on the first floor, up as far as we can for the electrical panels. But I think the reason we can't do brick on the second floor is the way that this is built is just like a barn. It's just 12-inch by 12-inch wood beams, and there's no foundation. We did pour concrete downstairs, but there's no foundation to put brick on.
You're using true hardy board?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's legit stuff.
Oh,
It's expensive
bulletproof,
too.
It's hail-proof,
Yeah.
it's amazing, yeah.
It is good.
Ben, just put that fake brick wall siding on the outside.
We can, yeah. I love the brick, and I just don't think that the weight would hold on this building. This building is, it's almost like a pole barn construction, just
Yeah.
really old school.
There would be some structural issues,
I don't think we could do it. And we certainly couldn't triple brick it like the
Yeah.
rest of the building is. And the rest of the building is triple brick, which is amazing.
God, just get that few centimeters looking brick.
Oh, yeah,
Just
right.
put it on the outside.
Glue it up.
Just glue it.
No, be quiet over there.
It's far enough away. Nobody will notice. Just paint it to look rough, like look dirty or whatever on the outside. So.
Hollywood set,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Right, yeah.
It probably would work, honestly.
Well, it's a long way
I
from
don't
here.
have any other questions other than, when you guys go to paint it, you know, that color would need to be approved, but
Well, what are you all thinking? Let's just take a vote. White, or do we want it to be
I
more
would-
like the brick color?
white.
No,
personally,
I
would
kind of
prefer
agree with
white.
them. I think a brick color or, you know, a maroon or brickish color would work well because it would fit in with the buildings and
Or
not
even wood color.
stick out.
You know,
Or wood color?
yeah.
Or that would be too, yeah, either one.
I mean,
I like
you're already doing a lot of, wood-like or wood stain-like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could carry that from outside to into.
We could do a dark brown, yeah.
It's not such a great contrast.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah, we want
white
it
to
blend.
brick. Like, it looks like you're gonna put something
Right.
there and it's missing something.
I'm not allowed to dress myself, so I'm the wrong guy to do this, but I do tend to agree. I think I'd walk out with purple, green, yellow, it'd be terrible. But, I do think that I like the idea of a brick or a more natural wood.
Or natural
Yeah,
wood, yes.
yeah, I think either one of
Could
those
even
would
do
be perfect.
black also. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan, you said this is a contributing element.
The building is
The building is.
contributing, but,
But it's
and
a
at
secondary
this side
facade.
is visible from, it is secondary facade, it is visible from the road, from Division.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, part of the problem is just like the applicant stated, you know, there's obviously some structural considerations in a perfect world, we just go back and brick it and call it good, but there's a
Snowflake,
lot
yeah.
there that isn't really going to be good long-term
Yeah.
if we try to do that.
Yeah, they don't wanna-
Well, and it's not like they're suggesting a low-grade material.
Right,
No,
right.
they are.
use.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
not.
Yeah, we're not doing vinyl.
Right.
Right.
They did a really great job on their other building
Oh, yeah.
facades, on the
No
current building and
concerns,
stuff
yeah,
like that,
no
so,
concerns.
Had it painted
Yeah.
wafer board.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Are we ready for motion?
I am ready for a
I
motion.
make a motion, we approve as applied.
A second.
Okay, so we had a motion by Phil and a second by Daryl. All right. Jason Wells,
Yes.
Valerie Duncan,
Yes,
Daryl Covington,
Yes.
Phil Nichols,
Yes.
and Maneka Gibbs.
Yes.
All right, 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Well, they could hang brick on, put a series of angle iron carriers
Yeah.
across,
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
3 or 4 as they went up.
yeah.
All right, number 7, discussion and possible action on administrative policy 25-001 regarding additional standards for window signage within the Capital Town Site Historic District. Staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Some of you may have noticed, some of the windows in the downtown kind of started to, get away from, I guess, the guidelines or that. When this whole thing came up, staff was looking at it, didn't want to come down with the heavy hammer and just say, no, make it all go away. But obviously needed to have some type of, standards or controls, so we have some uniformity and, most importantly, have it to where it doesn't look, for lack of a better word, cheesy, in the downtown. So what we had come up with was, and it's in there, and that's why obviously I'm bringing it to the HPC, is if you approve it, we'll go with it. Eventually down the road, hopefully we'll be able to update some of our guidelines to accommodate some more of the recent stuff such as this, but this would be something we could have in the interim. So if somebody says, where is this, or who said this, we can all be on the same page. So the first is no digital electronic signs or displays of any kind are allowed except for one open sign. Most people have a digital sign downtown, open, in that. But one of the other big things was we started to see a lot of the light curtains, and not only that, but flashing lights and a whole array of stuff. So number 2 would be lights or strings of lights can only be used to accentuate the window frames. Lights must be white and not flash or blink. No light curtains or display of lights in a window. Now, having said that, you'll see there's an exception. Obviously, in the month of December, we have our territorial Christmas, and we want to be known as the Christmas capital of Oklahoma. So there would be an exception during the month of December that you could have the light curtains, you could even have, blue, green, red lights for the Christmas, but upon that, or after that month, they would have to go down. Actually, a couple of the businesses said, oh, we're sorry, we meant to take them down, we only had them up for the holidays, in that. So most of them have, well, I can tell you all of them have been understanding and have worked with us in that on the lights. Some of them didn't have an issue other than they were blinking. They were white lights that were around the windows, but they had them blinking, so they just shut the blinking off. So the other exception would be that, again, during the month of December, light curtains or colored lights specific to the holiday season will be allowed. And then finally, number 3, painted decorative borders of a window are allowed, except the painted border will count as signage and is only allowed for 30 days at a time. The combination of a business sign and painted border cannot exceed 1/3 of the window size. And this is, again, kind of looking at a, in between. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that somebody puts maybe little hearts around the window, or it was being done, I think, by the art department at the high school or something. But obviously, we can't have it to where, entire windows are being painted and again, not fitting within the historic context of the downtown. So obviously, any of these can be changed by the commission. If you have a heartburn with any of them or want to change them, that's not a problem. Again, the whole intent was to kind of have an in-between of, instead of saying no and being rudely black and white, we would give some options for businesses to, again, have something to look at when we're walking around, especially the lights. Obviously, we had a program for the buildings and that, so having white lights around the windows fit right within that, and of course, at night, that looks really nice, so, anyway, that's the gist of that, so if you have any questions of me, if not, back to the commission.
This might be a stupid question, but is this all, these would have to get approved, these new, they'd have to come for approval?
No, they could be done based on these standards.
Oh, okay.
And that, kind of like we do with the A-frame signs
Okay.
and the flags. As long as they meet the certain size and the certain height and that, then you're fine in that. So it would be just, again, be done essentially by right. And we would obviously make sure that if it's not done properly, just like we did recently, we go contact the businesses and let them know how to bring them into conformance.
So even like some of the newer garage door style windows that we're seeing, the 30% rule would apply to something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, that's our current guideline.
Yeah.
Because as you'll see in my staff report, you know, it all comes down to signage because of how the definitions of not only the HPC code, but even our city zoning code. Basically, any intent you have to put on, you know, the outside to attract, you know, the attention of customers or that is considered signage in that. And so that's why, you know, we put these provisions in, but it would be with the intent of, like I said, allowing it so they don't have to come every time they want to maybe do some new painting.
I really like this. I approve of it. The only thing that I would add is to be specific about painted windows. It does mention that they're only allowed for 30 days at a time to be considered temporary signs. But if a business wants to paint their window and leave it up for a season, as we're seeing several businesses downtown do that, then they need to go through the same process for a certificate of appropriateness.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
so-
Dan, I would also like to say that the, standard for the month of December for, holiday lighting, you know, retail, you kind of start that, you know, about November through the end of December is when you start decorating and putting lights up.
Oh, that's fine.
That's the only thing is I would say that I would expand that, not just for
We could just-
December, I would just say
We
that
could change it
holiday
to
season.
mid-November.
Yeah.
Mid-November,
Just-
mid-December.
It would
Yeah.
be easier to just say the Christmas season.
Yeah.
That works, yeah.
It's just that holiday season where we start running it because.
Yeah.
Now, my grandma puts her stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they're
So
starting
everybody's definition's
July.
a little different.
It is. I
Actually,
just,
say, if they start in July, we're gonna
yeah.
have to say sorry, but like you said, if it's the first or second week in November, we're not gonna go say, hey,
Right.
take it down for
Right.
2
Right.
weeks and put it back
Right.
up.
retail, you start, you know, Christmas right after school starts.
Yeah.
You know, but at my house, I decorate after Thanksgiving because I give homage to thanks.
Yeah.
And then I put up 12 Christmas trees.
We're a solid December 23rd. We throw all of our stuff up right before the kids come to town.
But,
I
yeah, so
think this
just,
does allow, because right now, as our design standards set, there's no window painting at all. So, you know, I can see that it's fun. It is
Yeah.
exciting for, you know, businesses to be able to do it, to bring it in, but,
Well,
you
even
know, a
homecoming,
retail
right? Even
front-
homecoming, right? I mean,
Homecoming,
during
yes.
homecoming, the kids are going
I
to
put a
come
giant
and stuff.
sign on the front of my building whenever we did
Yeah.
the bond issue,
Mm-hmm.
Vision Source, they painted their windows, vote yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like that, and I like the community being able to come together and to be able to support each other, as long as everyone understands that it's temporary. You know, window paint, it cracks and, you know, doesn't always look solid for a long period of time.
Yeah.
yeah, that is a good point, Valerie. I like that where, if they want to have something beyond a temporary, then yeah, they can do so, but it would have to get approved through
Yeah.
HPC. So,
I like that as well.
yeah, and then I'll add, or I'll basically change where, again, the exception will be the holiday season, rather than
Yes.
just say month of December.
Yes,
Very good.
all right, can I get a motion to approve as amended?
I make the motion to approve as amended.
Okay. Motion.
Go ahead, Jason.
I'll second.
Jason?
All right, Jason Wells,
Yes.
Valerie Duncan,
Yes.
Darrell Covington,
Yes.
Phil Nichols,
Yes.
and Mineka Gibbs.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you for this, Dan. And
Yeah, it's good.
this came with a lot of, I know I got a lot of texts.
It's all for the better good.
A lot. All right, are there any staff comments?
Yeah, I was just going to announce that Anita Charlatan, who was on the commission, had to resign. She was under the ownership and she sold her house that's just down the street here and no longer lives in the district or owns in the district, so she had to resign, so that's why she's not here. So we do have a ownership open position on HPC. So with that, that's all I have.
There you go, Lisa.
You're asking Abby why she can't join. She doesn't.
I don't think she can be on here, can she?
Why couldn't she?
Who?
Does she
My
not?
wife.
Does she not also own the depot with you?
Of course. But I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, we have to look into that.
Is that a conflict of interest?
Yeah,
in
it's
being-
Maybe on the council,
You're ex officio though, and you don't have voting rights, so
We can look into it.
but the city council does.
Yeah, but the council, because things
this
can be
is
appealed to
true.
the council.
This is
the
true.
only thing I would think.
This is true.
Yeah, but we
I
can
agree.
look-
I was gonna say,
We're
Jamie and I,
we're
we
back
can
to you,
always
Lisa.
vote.
It's one day a month. 12 minutes, one day a month.
Yeah, they usually
Hey,
don't go this long.
sometimes we go 15.
I know.
I mean, we're a half hour in.
All right, there we go.
All right, are there any commissioner comments? No, if you guys have any nominations for that open position, they do need to be an owner. And we can have them fill out an application.
I'd just like to say to Seth, seriously, very happy and proud of what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome. The sign looks
Absolutely.
incredible.
Well, we're hoping that get it actually produced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody to actually,
Yeah. But we appreciate it.
we gotta have the Marsh Grove letter down.
Yeah. And then to the Kennedys,
We got a great something.
yeah.
The guy that did both. Basically, saw
Yeah.
it. Just-
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's about to.
Yeah.
I have a sign.
And then the other thing I wanted to say to the Kennedys, I know we all do. I've never had a chance to tell you publicly. I appreciate everything you guys are doing and the investment you're making in our community. You know, we need more folks like the Robbins and the Kennedys and the people that are willing to step forward.
And the O'Connells.
And Connells, yeah. I mean, and invest in the downtown area. It doesn't go unnoticed and it's very appreciated.
It's a lot.
So,
It's a lot. We definitely appreciate it. We needed it for a long time.
They could do more, though. Lisa could be on this commission and volunteer and serve.
I agree.
with that, I'm gonna make a motion. We adjourn. I'm hungry.
All right, I have a motion. Valerie, you want a second? Where?